Bushwick Antichrist, the scumlord of the underground and the undisputed king of the no-ring deathmatch is here on the Armchair Bookers podcast. And I'm not alone. I brought the garden weasel. You better listen. We're Casanova's coming to your house, and you're not going to like that.
$52 fucking episodes. 52 goddamn episodes. We started off saying that Brock Lesnar ruined the Universal Championship. We're going to be starting with our main topic today on how Brock Lesnar is ruining Money in the Bank. This is episode 52. 1 year of the Armchair Bookers podcast. Y'all have been listening. Thank you for tuning in. We got Fridge, we got Mav, we got Stoney, we got JK, myself. Y'all know who I am. How y'all doing tonight?
What up, yo? We live
Yo.
and in person tonight, boys and girls.
1 year ago today, a podcast was formed out of hatred for the Beast Incarnate, as Paul Heyman would like to call him. Now he's the Beast in the Bank. We've come full circle, and I'm fucking mad. I'm real mad. Fridge is fired up. Brock, this was the best anniversary gift you could have ever given me. But I'm fucking mad. And it's just magnificent. It's magnificent. It's almost like we've been saying for weeks, that WWE is listening in. Because they wanted to give us a little anniversary present. Like, guys, we know you were born out of hate for this man. And now, on your first birthday, here it is. Once again, the ire of your existence is now the focal point of weekly televised product.
Gift wrapped in a green briefcase with yellow letters on it.
his ear.
To his ear, like a fucking boombox.
Yeah, I don't know who he thinks he is walking around nodding his head like that. Like
No one's done that since '98.
I know, bro.
No one even has a boombox now.
For real.
Like the kids in the audience were probably like, "Wait, what is he doing?
Why is he doing
Why?"
that?
It's weird. I think.
What is this a
music
reference
should,
to?
Exactly. Music should only come from the little tiny dots at the bottom of my iPhone.
There's one fan in the audience looking at his son and be like, son, I've waited to tell you this for so long. He is referencing what is known as a ghetto blaster.
I can only imagine that Brock Lesnar thought he was cool for that one moment.
You know what?
Oh,
he
he
probably thought
absolutely did.
Yeah, absolutely. He probably thought he was.
I don't think I've ever seen such a genuine smile on that man's face.
My next
than
words.
when he was doing that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, what the actual fuck, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into everything here, because believe me, we're going to talk about Lesnar, we're going to talk about Money in the Bank, we're going to talk about Cesaro, because we got to talk about Fridge, basically giving some ideas to creative here. But thank you for all listening to the podcast for 1 year. This is the first year of many. If you are the first time listener, you can check us out on the Apple Podcast app over on Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. And if you're digging what you're hearing, I hope you all are, please subscribe, comment, leave us a rating wherever you're listening, and support the podcast by checking out Armchair Bookers on ProWrestlingTees.com/ArmchairBookersPodcast. We also got a bunch of interviews over on YouTube. We got Casanova Valentine, we got Colin Delaney, we got Noel Foley, we got some members of the Bullet Club, got a lot more coming your way. We got another one coming this weekend. Also check us out over on Instagram, we're doing some stuff over there, and check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Surprisingly, y'all have been interacting on Facebook and Twitter with us a little bit more, so thank you for that too.
I'm just going to bring it back full circle because we're at the year mark. When we talk about ProWrestlingTees.com/ArmchairBookersPodcast, we have a variety of merch that you can buy. And as a little bit of a throwback, we got Stoney wearing the 420. But for a throwback, I'm going to hit you with my famous catchphrase. Buy one, 'cause daddy's poor.
There it is.
I've missed
Ooh,
it.
child, talk about it. So now let's get into the main topic of tonight. It's episode 52. Been a lot of stuff that we've been talking about over the last year or so. We started off, as Fridge said, originally, why did Brock Lesnar win the Universal Championship, and is he hurting the Universal Championship? And as Fridge brought up earlier, listen, He's now got the Money in the Bank contract. This is bullshit!
Well, you know what? The meme we posted on Instagram said it best. You thought we were listening? 154 days later, ha ha ha! You thought wrong. Because there's Brock Lesnar as Mr. Beast in the fucking bank.
I want to view this as a vehicle to get Seth over more, because nothing would cement his title reign further if he can squander Brock Lesnar's cash in. If Brock Lesnar can be in the statistic that is very small in the annals of WWE history of the men that failed to cash in the Money in the Bank successfully, is a pretty big win for the Beast / King / Handsome Slayer. I don't know. Like, he's just got so many nicknames now.
CrossFit Jesus.
CrossFit Jesus.
Oh my god, that's probably the best
The
one.
Architect.
Yep.
Man who is borderline an arsonist every week because he burns it down.
Hells yeah.
I just feel like Brock will not accept that. Like, Vince will present that to him and he will be like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not doing that.
To be fair, they did listen to Paul and Brock when they're like, we need to go on first because Seth needs a good reaction. That was their audible.
That was an audible?
That was an audible.
Oh, shit.
They were supposed to go on later in the night, and then Heyman and Brock were like, with this whole Becky stuff and Kofi stuff, Seth is going to get no shine if he's in the middle of that pack. We need to go on first.
Wow.
That's
good
fair.
for him.
That's fair.
Smart.
And that was a really good setup for the rest of the evening, too. You never see that happen at WrestleMania, like a Universal Championship or like a Heavyweight Championship go on first. That was shocking in and of itself, and the fact of how the outcome there happened was amazing.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, Paul Heyman played it off really well. He's like, listen, we got places to be. I just want to get done with this match and get Brock on the plane so we can get to where we got to go with the Universal Championship. You know, like, they played it off in a way where it was like, all right, you think Brock, you know, is going to walk out with it, and because of that attitude, that cocky, I'm going to just fucking walk into this match first thing, get it done, get it over with, cost him the belt.
Yeah, I get all that. I do, but you have so many of these superstars who are there week in and week out, putting down these crazy bumps. Dude, Finn Balor no longer has a back. I hope we all understand that. You see what he does. Yeah,
Seriously,
right?
he flew off that ladder.
He, like, 4 times.
Yeah.
From various hits. He even hit the hardest part of the ladder, as they said, the non-malleable part of it. And you're sitting there going, dude, he didn't even come close to winning it. And I'm not saying he had to. But I'm saying, like, Brock Lesnar came in at the end and was just like, oh, y'all fucked up today, and pulled it.
Finn Balor pulled the Shelton Benjamin role in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Oh,
where
my God.
He's not going to win, but he's going to do some cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so, same thing with Mustafa Ali.
Oh my god.
It felt like a very classic Money in the Bank, where everyone got their shine in, everyone looked like $1 million. And then in the final hour, when Mustafa Ali, who the amount of time that Brock Lesnar was running in from the ramp to when he was at the top of the ladder, could have just easily unhooked it and been like, I'm out. Didn't do that. I guess he was shocked by the presence of the Beast. But, like, that was the only sour point, is Brock Lesnar coming in the final hour and ruining probably what was the best Money in the Bank match in a very long time.
Yeah,
Easily.
absolutely.
The only other gripe I have is Randy Orton's ladder RKO spot that he's done in every Money in the Bank that he is ever in, where I pull you off ladder, catch you in RKO, look, I'm fancy, I the Viper. Like, I hate it.
I know.
Yeah.
Kid Drew McIntyre, the one person who shouldn't have took that spot.
I believe I read somewhere that no one knew Brock was going to come out. And he was hidden very, very well.
How do you hide a man that big?
You put
Paul
a
Heyman
burlap
said-
sack over his head. I don't know.
Paul Heyman said it himself. He's like, how do you hide the Beast Incarnate? How do you hide someone
you
this
hide
big?
him in an unlabeled locker room by himself for 2.5 hours.
I know
Yeah.
you hide it. You hide it behind Paul Heyman's ego. I love you, Paul. That was just a
Facts.
shot.
I just want to see Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, like, in a closet hiding, be like, can we come out now? No. Can we
They
come
have a
out?
walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
Brock's like, I didn't retire from UFC for this shit. Come on.
Brock's, where's my 15-year-old hunting mags that I had the last time when I didn't give a shit about this place?
Vince, yeah, I'm gonna need another 2,000. Vince just slides bills underneath the door.
2,000? Low ball.
That's it? Yeah, wow.
Every
More like
3 minutes.
More like
There you go.
25,000.
Oh my God, not like The Undertaker when he was doing his solo gigs. Oh boy. But back on to, look, here's my biggest gripe with Brock Lesnar holding the fucking Money in the Bank Money in the Bank. Everybody else took a massive risk in that match. All for that. And you know what, you could kind of hyper-rationalize that and be like, yeah, if they wouldn't have taken that, Brock Lesnar's win. No, Brock Lesnar coming into that match, no matter what, would have been a fucking shock.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'll double down on that. If the match was bad and Brock Lesnar cashed in, people would have been like, holy shit, that was crazy. But the match was great, and then Brock Lesnar showed up and ruined that shit. I understand what you're saying, Fridge. But
It's a way to like. It's obviously a device to build heel heat. That would have been great if it wasn't Brock. Like, Sammy could have came out in the final hour, and it would have been like, oh, it's Sammy, holy... No, you found out that Brock Lesnar strung up Sami Zayn like a goddamn Predator movie.
Yeah.
And
let Braun Strowman take the fall for it.
And then somehow got his spot, which they never clarified on how that spot was, like another loophole that Vince probably, just erased from the creative team's memory. We're on your side now, writers. It's crazy old Vince. I don't know. It's just, it was a swerve that didn't need to be. It serves only one purpose, and that is to see Brock Lesnar face Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Unless it's another swerve and he just shows up and breaks our hearts and beats Kofi.
Which is very likely.
Well, I think for the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to see nothing but teases on both Monday Night Raw and SmackDown of Heyman and Lesnar showing up, teasing the cash-in.
He's supposed to choose next week, I thought. I thought they were promoting that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I think he's going to choose, but I still think he's going to try and swerve everybody and, pop up every other show.
I mean, as we're getting closer to... I am pulling the ref card here. Also, shouts to ref. He's dealing with a little bit of an injury. Couldn't make it tonight to the recording. We're all very sad.
Yes,
he's got ref's elbow.
Yeah.
He'll love ref.
Yeah, he won't be able to count to 3 for a while, but we're holding out for him.
He's counting to 3 in his heart.
I thought you were about to say he's counting to 3 in heaven. I'm like, you didn't die! Jesus Christ!
Why do you have to go there?
Because I'm the fridge.
Oh, my God.
But we have to look at October and look at Fox, because Ref likes to look at October like it's some sort of miracle dream month that's going to fix everything.
It is our anniversary that month.
There you go.
We all know AEW is going to win End the War anyway. That was for you smarks out there. But anyway, back on track. SmackDown's going to Fox. If they want legitimacy, Brock Lesnar as the WWE champion would make sense. I don't want to see Kofi lose to Brock Lesnar. I want to see Kofi have a reign that rivals CM Punk's. But I know Vince gets bored and he goes, look at all my shiny toys. You hold the belt now.
Oh, I know.
So I really think that there is a decent shot that Brock Lesnar is going to be WWE champion for SmackDown on Fox.
I don't disagree, but you said Kofi and it hurt my heart a little bit because, dude, Kofi has been an amazing champion. If y'all have been listening for a while, you know how I was not about Kofi Kingston getting the championship because he was kind of acting like a sad sap. But then as that last promo before WrestleMania came, you saw him really build up. Dude, he's been doing great things as champion. And even if you watch after he got the shit kicked out of him by Dolph Ziggler, the backstage segment where Kathy Kelly comes back and is like, hey, just so you know, Dolph Ziggler's challenging you. He literally just head in hands, just all right. Real, he's done. He's toasted. He knows what he's got to do. This is the Kofi Kingston that's real, where he can turn on the pancakes and turn on the whole crazy shit, but he can also turn on the real aggressive part of him, and I love that. More of that, please.
My thing with that is I agree with you 100%. Kofi's really coming into the role of WWE champion. It's awesome. The New Day gimmick exemplifies that very well. It's kind of bringing the fun back to it. My issue is with Ziggler picking his shot. I'm glad to see Ziggler. If they give that match time, it's going to be a barn burner. But from a legit competition perspective, if we look at as two athletes fighting, Kevin Owens was a much bigger threat than Dolph Ziggler.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you say that because I've heard rumors that they've already changed the card for SummerSlam to include a triple threat match between Kofi, Ziggler, and Owens.
Really?
Yep.
And then Brock Lesnar cashes in and runs away.
Yep.
With the belt.
God damn it.
Bye-bye WWE title. At least we get our Universal Championship.
Right.
And a decent champ
Yeah.
holding it
God
currently.
damn. Yeah. I don't know, man.
I was gonna make a very bad analogy. Oh, fuck it, I'll make it anyways. It's our anniversary. I missed you all out there too. It's like WWE has visitation rights. Like Brock Lesnar, gets the belt, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends WWE gets to see it every now and again.
They get to FaceTime with it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Someone out there edit the meme of Wolverine holding a picture frame, and instead of Jean Grey, it's the Universal title.
Or Danny
Or the
DeVito
Money
for all
in
you
the Bank
fucks
case.
who were signing off on Danny DeVito being the next Wolverine.
Oh my god.
Oh, petitions these days, jeez.
I'm just like, I don't know, man. Brock Lesnar, you could build him back, and I guess that's what you're doing now. Fine. The motherfucker can wrestle. He could do his thing. Fine. I don't want him to take the title off of Kofi. And for me, it's probably all leading up to that Saudi Arabia show. That's what we're looking for him and Seth. They've already kind of put feelers out about it. I don't want it. I don't want Brock Lesnar in my title scene.
I don't want
title scene.
I don't want Brock Lesnar in WWE. Period. I think at this point, how long this man has been in this business, I think he's well beyond served his purpose for what Vince needed him for. I don't truly believe in my heart that he is the biggest draw that Vince thinks he is anymore.
He did pop the ratings this week, though.
Well, yeah, of course he did, because anybody who holds a Money in the Bank contract is going to fucking pop the ratings. Yes, I'll give a tiny bit more because it was Brock, but the week after the Monday Night Raw and Tuesday Night SmackDown after Money in the Bank usually have some of the highest ratings because there's always a suspected cash-in on those first 2 days.
I will tend to lean on that. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah, 100%.
Another thing going forward, I agree with Stoney 100%. I don't think Brock Lesnar is that big of a draw anymore, simply for the fact that you can tell that they're in panic mode. AEW
Exactly.
AEW got TNT, and then as soon as they had, what do we had? Wild card rule. The dumbest fucking idea in a while, compounded by the other dumbest fucking idea in a while, which is the 24/7 championship.
We're going to talk about that,
So
Yeah.
you have these panic moves because you're letting one person, I'm talking about you, Vince, run everything, have final say on everything, and he is scrambling. On Monday, for example, they went live, the script wasn't done.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit!
The page was literally being filled in as they went down.
Oh, my God.
That was it. As time went on, they filled in the page. It was like, oh, this happened.
I imagine the writer, let's use another analogy. We're telling stories this week.
We are the real storytellers.
We are the real bookers. Look at the writing team as master electricians who set up this very intricate of boards and wires that create a perfect symphony of execution and relays. And then you have Vince, who is their 5-year-old son that comes down and looks at all the hard work that they did and just starts pulling the wires out and putting it back in places that they don't belong. And then you flip the switch and that's Monday Night Raw every week.
The elegance at which that flowed out of your mouth was astounding.
There was a moment where you started to sound like Matt Hardy. Execution.
My broken breathing.
I can't. Oh my god.
All of these things coming from Brock Lesnar. Fuck this guy.
That's honestly why I thought that Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar were even a part of this Money in the Bank match, was because they're panicking. And they're forcing, and also because obviously they aired Money in the Bank during Game of Thrones, during the, not season, but series finale of Game of Thrones, Vince was like, yeah, fuck it, let's put a pay-per-view up. Like, and right before Game of Thrones came on, I think was the match with Charlotte and Becky.
It was the women's title sequence.
Yes, that all. And then during Game of Thrones, I think towards the end, was the men's Money in the Bank match. And I think Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar were in that match, and Brock Lesnar came out as like trying to be a big surprise for people that were watching Money in the Bank instead of watching Game of Thrones, or to have them flip back and be like, wait, what? Brock Lesnar came out? When no one fucking cares.
That makes a lot of sense. The problem is, not with your idea, is Brock Lesnar still could have had that surprise, but he didn't need to fucking win.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
That was like, surprise, and also fuck you.
And also, apparently, speculation, and it's apparently being reported that everyone knew someone was surprise entering, but they didn't know who. So that look on Ali's face was genuine, like, wait, what the fuck? Because he was apparently on track to win until they were like, yo, actually, instead, there's going to be a surprise entrant.
I would have took the case off and
Yeah.
won.
I would just
Flew Ali's weight, just fucking jump and swanton bomb into the audience. Just launch yourself.
With how Ali's been on social media too, imagine him grabbing the briefcase and just as he's going down, just motherfucking Brock Lesnar, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and Brock Lesnar's just watching him fall.
Like, well, that's not the planned ending.
Now Brock Lesnar's got to figure out a way to get the briefcase from him, and make it look convincing. Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
I would have taken that so well.
Ali is amazing on social media
God.
now.
He needs a good push.
So if I were to book this in a better light, and you wanted to get because Brock Lesnar should be at the point of his career where he's getting people over, but it's actually the reverse. He's Benjamin Buttoning, and he keeps winning, and no one can beat him. They should pull an Edge in Mr. Kennedy. So Mr. Kennedy won the Money in the Bank briefcase, but got hurt, or there was some sort of legal issue. One of those two things that happen to wrestlers all the time. So they had to somehow transfer ownership. So he actually defended the briefcase against Edge, and then Edge won it and became the first person ever cash in twice. So if I were to use that formula, which we haven't seen in like 10 plus years, have Mustafa Ali beat Brock Lesnar for the briefcase.
That would be awesome.
I like that.
You make that match interesting. It'd get Ali way the fuck over, and he would be Mr. Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. It would be incredible.
That'd be sick. Imagine Ali beating Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
holy
God.
shit!
I mean,
what a world.
That finisher looks like it'll hurt anybody real bad enough.
Oh yeah.
And you know, Brock Lesnar's got those stomach problems. So one large shot from a man doing a bunch of twists and turns and coming down on top of you could look like it realistically could put him away.
It could fuck you up.
He'd have to do 3 of them, because that's the formula to beat Brock Lesnar. We saw Roman do it. We saw Seth do it. Mm-hmm. You got to get him down and do your finisher 3 times in a row, and then that's enough to make him black out for like 3.1 seconds, and he kicks out at 3.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about Money in the Bank. You know, like the general Money in the Bank show. Because I think we've dogged on Brock Lesnar enough.
No.
We probably could keep going.
I can.
For another 4 to 5
for
episodes.
me, the 2 hours and 54 minutes of Money in the Bank, or 3 hours, whatever the fuck, however long it was, everything up until the last 6 minutes of that fucking show was absolutely fantastic.
Agreed. 100%.
So
it was
good.
great.
One of the best fucking Money in the Banks I think we've ever had.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Up until that last 6 minutes. I'm not going to stop stressing that last 6 minutes part, because fuck you, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, dude. That whole Money in the Bank was great. I don't want to say that Charlotte should have won, but Charlotte winning and then Bayley taking it off of her was fucking gold.
That was sweet.
And
You know
also,
what bothers me, though? The fact that they even fucking count that as a reign.
Well, I mean, she
That-
won.
Yeah.
Shit, but,
Yeah.
come on. There's gotta be, you gotta hold it for more than fucking 10 minutes.
I mean,
she still won it.
Zack Ryder.
Also,
Yeah.
Seth Rollins got cashed in by Dean the same night, right after he won and beat Roman for
That's
the title.
fair.
But, come on. But Charlotte's ninth
Charlotte-
title reign? Come on, she don't need it.
Charlotte
She's on
9
pace
reigns.
for 156 for crying out loud.
And she's going to get there because that's just how life works.
Hey, man, that means she's just lost 9 times.
This is also true.
Look on the bright side here. She has faults.
It's
good
not,
for Bayley.
Everyone thinks like, and we've had this conversation before. Everyone thinks that it's about the number of title reigns. No, it's about how lengthy your reigns are.
Right.
Like, Ric Flair's a 16-time world champion, but he wrestled for 30 years, so he has some incredibly long reigns, and he probably has some ridiculously short reigns. But there's a mixture. John Cena, 16 times. Like, all of John's title reigns, bar from a few, were like 90 days plus, maybe?
Right.
Like, on the short side. So, you gotta look at it for, like, who had the longest reigns? Like, CM Punk. CM Punk, in the modern era, had the longest title reign for the WWE Championship. I'm not counting Brock Lesnar because he was holding on to a fake leather belt that only showed up on TV once every 2 weeks, if that.
You mean once every 2 months.
There you go.
What about, let's bring up our boy, Pete Dunne.
Oh, God, don't.
Pete Dunne. Amazing. Shouldn't have lost to Walter. I still stand by it.
He lost.
He did lose.
It was heartbreaking, but I think it was
It was a good match.
a good match, and
It
it
was.
was. That's just how it was meant to be.
Let's get back to Money in the Bank, though, because, I'm happy to see Bayley get, the Grand Slam championship. They'll hold the whole deal for
First
her.
ever.
Like, first ever woman to win Raw, SmackDown, Tag Team, and NXT championships. Like, big congratulations to her.
Yep.
I wish it would have been a little more prolific, I guess is the right word to use for that. Because, like, yes, it was very interesting to see her, like, contemplate it in her head and then basically be like, all right, fuck it, I'm doing it. Like, that was cool.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a little more to it. And maybe that's just me being greedy as a fan. But I wanted a little bit more than that.
You know what? She did cash in on Charlotte, though. That's
I
pretty
know,
fucking
yeah.
prestigious.
It's a very good story to tell with all the chaos that was happening in that moment. Because it was literally like, okay, Becky just defeated Lacey in a pretty solid match, and then immediately wrestles Charlotte in also a really good match.
Right.
Yeah.
Ends in shenanigans, which realistically how it should end. And then Bayley comes out to help her friend, and then it's like, oh wait, I got this. Charlotte's unconscious. All right, let's do it. Like, it was well crafted. Because it could have been a lot worse. But I understand you wanted something a little bit more grandiose and fashion.
I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying I just felt like I needed a little bit more to, like, really hit me in the feels for Bayley. You know?
Sure.
I find the feels moment comes where as soon as she wins, she's running out to everyone that's got a Bayley sign in the crowd.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
That was
the
cool.
Bayley in the Bank thing was great.
Yeah.
Like, I love how she ran around to everybody like that. And it's funny because, like, up until that point, nobody realized that she was the one person that actually had the potential to complete that Grand Slam.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just one of those low-key things that you're like, the next day you realize, oh, shit.
Episode 51. I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
it's
please.
about you.
Right.
There is literally a quote from JK in episode 51. We all know Bayley's not winning it. Like,
Foot in mouth.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I was going to say. I had no way in hell that she was winning. I was like, they don't give a shit about Bayley. They don't give a shit about Bayley. And Bayley actually ended up doing the complete opposite of everything that I said. Oh, man. No, good for her, though. She's been overlooked. Really, she's had amazing matches over the years. She is an incredible talent. She's an incredible wrestler.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy now that they're putting the title on her. It's also interesting to think she's a Grand Slam champion, and the tag team championships for the women have only been around for a short period of time. So it was like, oh, cool, you did this. Now you're on to another championship. That builds prestige around Bayley, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
I think that also ticks the box of, like, she one-upped Charlotte, and Charlotte was usually the one that would always one-up her.
Yeah.
I'm definitely happy to see it not be Charlotte that gets that. Because I think they kind of pushed too much of her on us in those regards, getting all those firsts in the matches and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's too much. I think they don't give enough opportunity where it's due to other superstars or other performers, because they just love the Flair name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Vince has a big thing with legacy. Like, come on, look at Shane, his son. He's on the run of his life.
I know, but
Right.
you can create legacies with other people. You don't need to rely so heavily on somebody because of their last name.
I would say that you are absolutely right in that aspect, but I feel like to run a a solid wrestling company, you need a combination of, prestige and powerful names and new stars. And that's when a great example of that going forward is AEW. Like, it's an organization run by Cody, who is very much on the newer spectrum, and then he's going to be wrestling his brother. You have the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. Like, that is a newer dynamic.
Right.
But you're going to have old names show up. Like, Jim Ross is commentating. That's a powerful name. You do need that balance. I agree with you that WWE has kind of shifted that balance and it's uneven, and we're leaning too hard on prestige over making new stars.
Right.
But that could be a whole episode.
Well, I do want to bring up something that kind of ties a bunch of things together. While his legacy is not as long as someone like Ric Flair's or something like that, we got to give it up to Seth Rollins and AJ Styles in this match. Dude, and I'll tell you this, when you thought about Shinsuke versus AJ Styles, I think they had the legend of John Henry's hammer that was too difficult to ascertain, with their, no matter what match they had in WWE soil. But AJ Styles and Seth Rollins really only had 1 or 2 matches on the indies. Really not much that you can go back to and look. Mm-hmm. So people didn't know what to expect in this match, and those two tore the fucking house down. That match was amazing. That match was better than it had any reason to be. And it was just, at the end of that match, them shaking hands was perfect. No swerve, no turn, no anything.
Right. Yep.
That's exactly what that match should have been.
Disrespect.
That match was match of the night.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
easily. 100%.
If I will say this though, if Brock Lesnar did not win Money in the Bank would have been match of the night.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because the spots in there were absolutely nuts. I would also hold the women's Money in the Bank match in high regard.
Oh, yeah.
Because those female superstars were putting their bodies through horrific things.
Absolutely.
They were reaching car crash level status.
Mm-hmm.
They were reaching the level of violence of the match where Joey Mercury broke his goddamn face.
Yeah.
Like, it was getting that real. But no, AJ versus Seth was the match tonight. That Styles clash. The stomp into the Styles clash. On any other night, it wouldn't have been that smooth. It wouldn't have been.
No.
But it was beautiful. It was beautiful. We were all like, oh! You had to scream. You had to.
Yes.
It was one of those moments where you're like, thank God I'm a wrestling fan.
Yes.
And that sometimes they listen to us.
Yeah.
For me, it was very reminiscent of Seth and Randy. In that moment.
WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's what I saw in my fucking head when I saw him going for that stop and AJ just kind of popped him up and caught him like that. But what a smooth transition into that fucking Styles clash. Like, holy crap.
It was smooth, but I will say there was a moment of hesitation from Seth going for the curb stomp and AJ just grabbing him. That was so smooth, but AJ couldn't get his left foot over, which is fine.
That's fine.
That happens a bit.
It happens, but I think he thought he was about to step on Seth's arm, so he was like doing it gingerly, and Seth locked his arm in, and it was just like lights out. It was so fucking awesome.
Yeah. But that's also, it adds believability because he's like, I gotta lock it in or it's not gonna
That's true.
work.
I didn't think about that. That is absolutely accurate.
So, because we like talking about this cat, and it's 1 year on the podcast. Granddaddy Meltzer's ratings for that men's Money in the Bank 4.5 stars. I agree.
Wow.
Okay.
I agree.
I think you called that.
Probably not, but thank you for thinking so highly of me.
I'm pretty sure.
I think she's right.
I'm pretty sure you said 4.5 stars.
Okay.
Meltzer rating 4.5. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if that was for that match or the whole
pay-per-view. Yeah, you might be right.
So, Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles, 4.5.
Wow.
Meltzer, you crock of shit. That was a 5-star match. I'm surprised you give Gargano the amount he has. You just do not like WWE product.
I think he's just rock hard for Gargano.
I'm rock hard for Gargano.
If you're not rock hard for Gargano, what the fuck are you watching?
Johnny freaking Wrestling gets me going.
I can't even believe that he gave him a 4.5. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that was a 5-star match. What? I just want to know, what in Daddy Meltzer's fucking bag of tricks would he have liked them to have pulled out? Like, what would have put it at that next level. Would it have been that whole lock into the Styles Clash? Would it have been that? Is that fucking extra half star, you twat?
No, the match probably just needed 45 more minutes.
And had to go to a draw.
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
To be fair, I would love to see AJ Styles and Seth Rollins in an Iron Man match.
Oh, wouldn't we all?
Full 60 minutes.
Oh. That would be amazing. That would just be a dream. I would turn my phone off, turn all the lights off, and just watch that
You
3
think
times in a row.
Gargano makes me hard?
Seth and AJ together? Forget it.
We are at the anniversary of the Armchair Bookers podcast, but more importantly, one of the newer segments, the I Book It Better segment, where we've got our spreadsheet up here with various scenarios, and Fridge has to book out an entire scenario. Last week he did Bo Dallas as World Heavyweight Champion.
Was that
This is
last
fucking
week?
crazy. That
Yeah.
was last week. He did Roman Reigns heel turn in 2018. Before that, he did Cesaro as a world champion the week before that. He's got a lot of crazy ones. He's got some crazy shit. We're going to keep that going. If you guys got some booking requests, throw us an email.
You know, he
Throw us
claims
something
these
on
are all
Twitter.
random, but they're all yours. Every single one that he's done so far has been one of yours.
I still hit a random button.
I know. I just had to fuck with you on that.
All right. I'm gonna hit the randomize button here.
Do it. I don't believe he ever hit the button.
All right, ready? So, your topic today is book a women's division mid-card belt, like a U.S. title, an Intercontinental title for the women.
Okay. All right. I was really hoping that's what Mick was going to announce. Like, I was really hoping it was going to be Mick announcing a women's mid-card title. Okay. You don't want... I don't want to, like, assign it a gender. I don't want to be like, it's a gender championship. I'd rather it just have a normal name, and it's just defended... It's just defended by women. It's just a women's roster title, but it doesn't have a gender-specific name, and I think this is the perfect opportunity for it. I would call it the WWE Network Championship. Have a title for the network. We used to have old TV titles. Like there was an ECW television title. There was a WCW television title. And what those titles meant is that was a title that was to be defended primarily on TV. It was a reason to get you to watch TV. So let's give a reason to, one, watch excellent women's wrestling, and two, watch the WWE Network. So there would be two caveats to this belt. One, it would be defended not solely, but primarily on WWE Network television. So this is a belt that can be defended on 205 Live. This is a belt that can be defended on NXT. And it's brand neutral, which means anybody can win it on any one of those rosters. And it's defended every pay-per-view because the pay-per-views are on the network. So it's a belt that's easily plug and play. And it really gets to show off SmackDown's roster, NXT's roster, Raw's roster, and potential signees. And speaking of that, how we get to our inaugural WWE Network champion is we use the Mae Young Classic. We do it in the tournament, and that is the prize for the tournament. And in that, I want to treat it the same way. I want to sign some outside talent just for the tournament, maybe some new future stars, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, the best of the best. And I would probably, the first champion for me would Ember Moon. I would have Ember Moon be the first champion. I would have her win the tournament. I would also give her the roughest set of competition. I would almost, if I had to like quickly book the tournament, I would want Ember Moon to be on the side where it's all difficult, and I would want to be the foil in the finals, which I really liked her matches, and I think it'd be interesting. Would be Shayna Baszler on the other side, but her side of the bracket is all easy, and Ember's is hard. And by the time she gets to the end, Ember is beat up. We kind of have that same dynamic that we had in NXT before Ember got called up, but we're going to change it where Ember finally gets the win over Baszler. And it'll be big, it'll be uproarious, she'll look like the underdog, and she would go Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, NXT, and actually show up in NXT and put shine on, the part of the roster that doesn't get a lot of shine right now. Because if your name isn't Becky or Charlotte or Bayley or Lacey Evans, you don't get shine right now. And that's what I would do. I would create a mid-card title that its whole point is shine. It shines the network, it shines the women's roster that's not in the main event picture, but you also put it on a main event player first to help raise women up and really show what they can do, especially down in NXT. I think that's probably the best way to do it.
What's the match of the week this week, big boy?
I'm free, baby! That was my Kofi Kingston impersonation. Thank goodness I'm not with everybody. I probably would have laughed at me on that one and heckled me a bit. Anyway, you think that a little bit of needing to go to a medical facility would keep the ref off of the 1-year anniversary episode of the Armchair Bookers podcast? No chance. I'm making my comeback like Mick Foley off the stretcher. Hopefully I don't fall through the ring here. But anyway, I am here to talk about the match of the week. Now, this week, to get a little bit real about wrestling, this is the week that we lost Owen Hart 20 years ago to just an absolutely tragic, full-on accident. Was it a great plan to do what they did? No, we can all agree upon that. But they did it, it happened, and it's just tragic for the wrestling world then, and it still is now, to be honest with you. I mean, the match that we're going to cover is the WrestleMania 10 match between Owen and Brett. I even took notes on this one because I really want to make sure I do it justice, because it was incredible. It had layers, it had story, it had a lead up that anybody can relate to, anybody with a sibling can relate to. But I also want to go back and talk about Owen specifically, to pay homage to who he was outside of the ring. Now, every single solitary interview I have ever read, ever heard, whenever somebody is asked about Owen Hart, the things that they say give me goosebumps in terms of how amazing he sounds as a human being. I have never heard a single negative, even though some of his pranks, his world famous pranks, may have crossed some lines. Today, I think people would probably complain about it, but that's neither here nor there. Back in the day, when Owen was cracking some of these jokes, which I want to read a few, he just knew how to disengage once outside of the ring and just enjoy what they were doing in the camaraderie. He's from one of the most famous families in all of wrestling, and he always just seemed humble about it. And performance-wise, people were upset about Kofi not winning the belt. People are upset about some other superstars that have been around for a long time. Why didn't in current product? Why haven't they won the belt? Go back and watch Owen Hart's work, and he never got the big belt. And I'm not going to rant and rave about it. But he was that good. He didn't need the championship to make other people look amazing in the ring. He didn't need a championship to be over as a face or a heel. He was just naturally amazing as a wrestler and as a human being. So some of the things that he is known for in terms of jokes, I'll say my favorite for the last one, but he pinned Triple H during a Royal Rumble, and that was literally just to kind of for a rib, just to try to get a reaction from the other wrestlers, to be honest. One of the ones that I really loved, he told The Rock in a match against the two of them to give him a shoulder block. And once The Rock hit it, Owen went down in slow motion. And this is during a match, he just had fun with it. In a match with Brett, he stuffed sardines in Brett's mouth and then held it shut during a camel clutch, so Brett couldn't spit them out. I mean, this is just like ridiculous things, but I mean, I just can't get over, how he just loved it. I keep saying that, but he did. He just loved everything. The one also I want to cover In a house show where he teamed with Jeff Jarrett against Ed and Christian, Owen attacked Edge with a foreign object, and then he hit it in his arms. Once the referee gave him a count to 5 to raise his arms, he raised them, and he revealed that it was a napkin that he hit Edge with. And then my favorite story is absolutely Stone Cold was at ringside, and I believe it was when his neck was still broke from the miscommunication between him and Owen. The only time Owen Hart has ever hurt anybody in the ring, by the way. And Stone Cold will even say he sat a little too low on it. So, and there was never any ill will, which is always good to hear. So Stone Cold was laid up with an injury, I believe, but he was ringside, and Mick Foley and Owen Hart were having a match, and Owen and Mick decided to grab a giant bag of popcorn from the concession stand. They were fighting around the arena, and hit each other with it. Owen Hart was selling it like he got hit by a cannonball. And it was all an attempt for Stone Cold to break character and laugh, because at that point he was that tough and rugged. I mean, his whole career, but he was in that full-on tough and rugged, angry, heel face anti-hero. And it worked. He broke character and started laughing. So they achieved that. But these are the things that Owen liked to do. So into the match real quick here, because I'd rather talk about Owen outside of the ring. But this match, I wanted to take notes, like I said before, and let me get into them real quick. The match, the lead up between brother versus brother was that nice slow build, frustration, miscommunication to frustration to anger to an attack to a big match. That's basically what happened here during a summer Survivor Series match. The Hart family, I believe, against Shawn Michaels, and I don't know his full team, but Owen was running the ropes. Bret was coming back on the apron because he was a little bit banged up. Owen knocked Bret off. When Owen turned around, he got pinned. So that was leading to some shoving and everything like that. Owen wanted to fight pretty quickly. Challenged Bret to a match because he cost the Survivor Series match, and then cost Owen his spot in the Survivor Series match. The Hart team won in the long run. They made up for a little bit, and they actually came back as a team. Bret made sure to say that he would never wrestle his brother, and also said during a small promo that, the match isn't going to happen, and I guess they'll never know who the better wrestler is. When Bret said that, Owen shot him a look very quickly, and I thought that was nice and subtle, and will lead into the turn that Owen makes after the two of them fought for the titles and lost, again through some miscommunication. So Owen ended up kicking Bret in his bad knee, and we're off to the build for WrestleMania. WrestleMania 10, big mania, as we all know. We all talk about Shawn versus Razor Ramon in the first ladder match for the Intercontinental title. But to be honest, this match, the build and everything deserves to be right under it, and is constantly forgotten, which is slightly criminal, because brother versus brother, Hart versus Hart is big, and it was big. There was a lot of back and forth to start, a lot of mat wrestling, and they're just showing off the amazing abilities that they have. Their style would fit today perfectly and would still be considered some of the best in the world. Owen seemed to primarily control the match. Bret ended up aggravating his knee a little bit later in the match, and Owen, focused on that for basically the rest of the match going forward. A couple of sharpshooters by Owen onto Bret that were reversed. A whole bunch of near falls. You really started to feel like anybody could win. Bret took over a bit, put Owen in the victory roll, so that's Owen on top of his shoulders. But Owen countered it and just rolled Bret up for a 1-2-3. So it was a nice shock. Bret looked devastated that he lost. Owen, of course, healed it up and was jumping up and down. And the best thing that I thought he did to really rub it in his face, and this was when things were allowed, flipped Bret off right in his face, gave him the finger, and then walked out of the ring. At this Mania, it wasn't be all bad for Bret. He ended up winning the WWE title at the end of the show against Yokozuna. But this match itself just set Owen into a standard. I mean, he already was considered amazing, but this showed and gave him bragging rights for basically the rest of his career. He was very smart about using past successes. He was very much that condescending and conceited heel. He carried around his Slammy Award for years, I think. And he was just so good at it because then he would back it up in the ring. So just an amazing match. I strongly recommend going out and see it because, again, the subtlety and the nuances and the storytelling is just superb. So Owen Hart versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 10. It opened the show, and it was incredible. Go out, check it out. This is the ref. Like I said, you cannot keep the man of the human experience out. Very happy to have made it to 1 year, so thank you, everybody. Big things coming up in year 2. Continue to watch for our content. I got interviews for days. Check us out. Rest of the team, take it away.
I'm Doc Jones, reminding you that you can find the Armchair Bookers podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Podbean. If you pick up your favorite streaming device, go to the podcast store, type in the Armchair Bookers podcast. You're going to find us there. Know where else you're going to find us? You're going to find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Get some fabulous gear on ProWrestlingTees.com. Show that favorite stud or studette what they are with those beautiful t-shirts, or become an official booker by picking up the Armchair Bookers podcast t-shirt. This is Doc Jones signing off, and thank you.
All right, so usually what we do is we usually come back and we hit a recap of, let's say, Raw and SmackDown, and then usually do a few things from around the globe of wrestling. But it's going to be a whole hodgepodge of shit now. You know, recap of Raw, SmackDown, Double or Nothing coming up, different things. Just, you know why? Because it's our fucking anniversary episode. We don't really need to have a script tonight. We don't need to do any of that. What'd y'all think of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown?
We don't have a script every week.
This is fair.
Yeah,
The
we
20
never, what the fuck?
You know what? Speaking about not having a script, 24/7 title. Let's talk about it.
You mean basically...
The hardcore title for the PG era.
No, I was going to say Vince's, like, subconscious in a belt.
Basically.
Like, what...
It looks like it belongs on a 50s diner wall. It looks horrible.
It does. Or it looks like something from Batman Beyond, just in a burst color scheme.
The fact that it's going to have blank side plates forever.
That really fucking bothers me. You literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, how little time did they put into the creation of this belt to have nothing on the fucking side plates?
Yeah.
I'm just imagining Vince is in his office. It's like, we need a new belt, damn it. Okay, I got a dinner plate. I got this, like, scrap of pool table felt. Make that something, damn it! Like,
take this clock off the wall.
Yeah. This random vinyl on the floor.
and you just got a writer just sweating, like, fuck.
Like I have a family to feed at home. Yeah.
All right. Oh.
I don't want to get
But-
fired today.
I gotta say this. I'm really happy with the 24/7 title being a thing. I hate how it looks. I hate all that shit. But god damn it, you put it on R-Truth, and he has been one of the most entertaining things over the last few days.
As far as I'm concerned, when R-Truth holds that belt, it's the European title.
Yes.
Yes. R-Truth is fucking gold no matter what he does, but put a belt on that man and let him call it whatever the fuck he wants, and it is fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Please come out next week and say you have the light heavyweight title
Oh,
already.
please. Just bring every single title that WWE has discontinued.
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
Going
Oh,
back,
go ahead.
sorry. Going back to not having title plates on the side, who's gonna want it? Because a big part of having the World Heavyweight title or having the Universal Championship or what have you is your name is watching the backstage video of the people getting so excited of watching them switch out the title plates, of having their name on the actual title. It's a like coming to moment where you're like, holy shit, that's mine. Having a belt that is basically something you could make yourself at home, who's gonna fucking want it?
I just would love to see R-Truth come out with Velcro and just stick it on the sides with just his face. Oh my god, that would be perfect.
Or just what's up. He writes what's up in Sharpie.
Well,
He
I
just
think-
Sharpies R-Truth on the side.
I think the interesting part about that, like now the more I think about it, is like nobody's meant to hold that belt long enough to even have side plates put on.
Right,
That
it
belt
makes
is literally
sense.
meant to be a fucking hot potato.
So,
Yeah.
two things. One, when it got announced, why did 90% of the locker room fucking come out and scramble for it?
It wasn't 90% of the locker
That was
room,
like
it the catering
5%,
squad.
dude.
All right, fine. Regardless, like, I'm so hungry to be on TV. Let me try to win. Like, I hate what they're doing because except R-Truth because he's a magical human being. But it's just a rough sell. Second point, I'm predicting it right now. Either Mark Henry or Booker T will be a 24/7 champion.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't
Damn.
Didn't you
disagree
say?
with
Did you say Ron Simmons off pod?
I probably did.
I think you did.
I did.
And you know what? Damn, I want to see that.
I would love to see Brock Lesnar win the title, hold it for like a
God.
little bit, and then
The
someone like
longest
Drake
winning
Maverick
timekeeper.
sneaks over while he's taking a nap because he's too bored to do anything, and just pins him, takes the title, and that's all you hear about it.
Guarantee you Big Show's gonna win it.
Oh,
Yo,
dude,
I want to
absolutely.
see. I want to see Truth come out to the ring while Brock's out there and go, "I want you to cash in on me." He should have done that on Monday. Unfortunately, the belt wasn't around then yet. But if they had done it, it would have been funny as hell to have him come out with Seth
felt
and
so
Kofi
bad.
out there.
I felt so bad for Foley too, dude.
Yeah,
Oh my
that was
God.
just like,
When he lifted it and they booed, he was like, I know I'm doing it again, guys.
Yeah.
I know I'm doing it again.
somebody stop letting this man introduce titles, please.
Foley's tough,
fuck's
man.
sake.
Foley is like, he's such a critic for WWE. He's like, I want to see things go back to the old days. When they call him and like, hey Mick, you wanna talk about a new title? He's like, oh, fine.
I'm not saying I can be bought. And I talk a lot of shit about WWE. But if Vince one day calls me up and is like, hey, we're going to cut you a check, I will stop recording.
Oh, you know what? They're gonna have to start doing that anyway. You know why? Because remember what I just said. Probably like a half hour ago here. Fridge booked out an entire scenario for the Swiss assassin, Cesaro. And what the fuck happened this week? What the fuck happened this week?
He got a gimmick change, and he came out as a no-nonsense heel that really beat the shit out of somebody. Like, he won emphatically. Like, someone said that, 3 weeks ago. Oh, wait, that was me.
Royalty check?
They're not coming. I give this away for free.
You're fucking welcome.
You're welcome, Vince. I do it all for you.
You're the
Daddy
remote,
Vince.
You're the remote creative team.
I'm the satellite creative team. It's like volunteering at the Y. I do it for the good of my heart. Or out of the good of my heart, not for the good of my heart. That makes me sound like a terrible person.
Let's talk about Cesaro for a second, though. Cesaro's new theme music is awesome.
It
It's
is.
about time.
And also, I gotta put this out there. Last time he came out, before they gave him the new music, they let him come out to Sheamus' music, which was really cool. His tights this week had Cesaro and Sheamus written on them too. That's pretty cool. And he just beat the shit this week, dude. He was fucking on fire.
He did.
Please, more of this.
Yeah, he did come out and put his, thumb to the side, did like the bar thing. So I'm confident that, the whole Sheamus Cesaro thing isn't really going anywhere. I mean, maybe it won't be as big and as frequent, but I like that Cesaro has his own entrance now. I like the style of it. I think, yes, it's no nonsense. Number two, it fits him very well. It's very dynamic. It's very big, but it's also to the point. And I think it kind of sounds a little similar to Ricochet's, and they also kind of have a similar style in wrestling. I think not exactly, but they're both flying high, and they
Sure.
both do it very well.
Stony is also flying high.
Living the gimmick.
So that's why I really like. That's why I really like that Cesaro came out, and the first person he wrestled with this new gimmick, this new theme, is Ricochet, and it was awesome. I loved seeing them. Like, Ricochet got up on his feet on Cesaro's shoulders and backflipped off. It was awesome. Like, the match was really good. There were some points where I was like, all right, it could have been better, but I think it was. The spots that they did pull were really, really awesome, and I really like this new move for him because he used to come out to the Bond theme, which was cool, but I feel like that was like not the Bond theme, but like a Bond style theme that was cool, but also I was like, okay, like it was almost this like smooth kind of quiet guy, and now he's kind of become bigger with the bar, and he deserves a new gimmick, a la Fridge calling it, and it was at the right time, I think. The bar thing is kind of tapering off anyway. You might as well.
I have two things. One of them I just forgot, so I have one thing. Fuck, what was the second thing?
You forgot both of them?
No, I remember the thing I wanted to talk about, but then I thought of a second thing. Oh.
Should someone else go?
Oh, wait. Anyway, I'll talk about the most important part, which is if Sheamus has to and I don't want this, but if it is for the best interest of his longevity and his health, if Sheamus has to call it a day and has to stop with in-ring action, I want to see Cesaro use the bro kick.
Oh, dude. Hell yeah. That'd be great. And I'd appreciate that more than something like the high cross or the white noise. Dude, incorporating that bro kick into Cesaro's already brutal offense, fuck yeah. Be sick. This week was interesting. This week was interesting for a lot of reasons. But we got to talk a little bit about Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing's coming up Saturday?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like that.
Really breaking the ball there. You know, usually pay-per-views are on Sunday. This is on Saturday. Oh, shit.
Yeah, well, this isn't a WWE bullshit pay-per-view.
This isn't. If y'all been living under a rock, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, is putting on Double or Nothing, their second pay-per-view, but their first pay-per-view branded with the All Elite Wrestling tag there. It's going to be a crazy show.
Sorry, it's a very expensive pop-up t-shirt shop.
Hey, listen, they're more than just a t-shirt company now, though.
I know. Now they sell pants.
And hats.
And hats.
And jackets.
hats,
And
shoes.
sweaters. And socks. You can get your AEW boxers.
I think them being on Saturdays is a great choice for them, especially with them going on TNT. I feel like, especially also with them being in Vegas, it almost has like a UFC vibe.
Hell yeah.
I feel like that was a great choice for them to be on Saturday.
It's going to have that big fight feel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that they've been building towards for, 6 months now?
Highly anticipated.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of big things. There's been a lot of big names that have been rumored to be making appearances.
Yes, there have been.
We may see our boy Johnny Moxley up
I'm
here.
hoping so,
I'm
man.
fucking hoping so, too.
If that's the case, he needs to replace Pac and wrestle Hangman Page.
Oh
Absolutely.
my
I
God.
would love to see
But
that.
then Page is
But also,
not
I'm
reportedly
pretty
winning.
sure Joey Ryan said something about wanting to fight Hangman Page as well. So,
That's someone who could easily take the loss.
oh yeah,
It makes sense.
I want to. Ooh, John Moxley versus Joey Ryan.
Oh, God.
Oh,
that would be
man.
awesome.
That'd be cool.
What?
By the way,
No,
guys,
that's-
remember, Joey Ryan can actually wrestle. He's not just the gimmick. He's a fucking good wrestler.
He is.
Yeah, but if he wrestles John Moxley, barbed wire is getting wrapped around his dick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a
Dude.
real thing.
That's the fucking show right there, bro. What do you mean?
The whole fucking show.
You usually gotta pay extra for that.
Well, let's talk a little bit.
I mean,
right?
it is an expensive ass pay per view. You never know.
It is.
For all you who don't know, who you probably know now because the fucking match is up, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's good. You know, you had Pac, who has now kind of gotten away from All Elite Wrestling because he's a Dragon Gate World Heavyweight Champion. He didn't want to lose in this match to Hangman Page, which I can understand. So basically, you have this match that happened for free. The Chris Jericho Kenny Omega match, the singles match, winner will face Casino Battle Royal winner in a future AEW World Championship match. So the winner of the 21-man Casino Battle Royale will get an AEW World Championship match. That's fucking crazy. And I want to bring up a few things about this. So let's run down the card a little bit, at least what's there. We'll start off with the 21-man Casino Battle Royal. You have Sonny Kiss, Brandon Cutler, Ace Romero, Glacier. You remember him? My boy Doc, you remember him from WCW. Brian Pillman Jr., Sunny Days, MJF, Joey Janela, Dustin Thomas, Billy Gunn, Jimmy Havoc, friend of the show, Michael Nakazawa, Jungle Boy, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Luchasaurus, and Sean fucking Spears.
Hell yeah, Sean Spears.
The perfect 10. I don't think he's able to go by that now. But we know Sean Spears. We know him
It's
as the
double or
type.
nothing. He can go by perfect 20.
That's
He
fair.
did, in his promo, put up a 10. I think it was 10 of hearts or 10 of diamonds or whatever it was. And then in the picture at the end of the promo had both hands out like in 10. So
What a giant fuck you to WWE if he won.
Yeah.
oh god.
Oh.
You know what, though? What a way to put yourself on the map. Imagine the first, well, let's say second, because this would be his first. The big profile match that you have after asking for your release under a company that Cody did the same shit 3 years ago is you versus Kenny Omega or Chris Jericho. Just think about that for a second.
I mean, it's gonna be Kenny.
Sure.
I think Kenny is going to be the inaugural AEW Heavyweight Champion.
No.
I don't know. I could see it.
I can
I don't
see
want
it,
them to do
but
it.
that's not starting off on the right foot.
And nothing against Kenny Omega, but I think you and I are thinking the same thing. okay, cool. If you're going to start All Elite Wrestling and have these 4 or 5 fucks at the top the whole time, then But you could use All Elite Wrestling to build history. He should get it, but not now.
Unless they're literally using the Elite as like an NWO-like stable. If that's what they're trying to set up. It doesn't seem like they're trying to lay that framework right now.
I don't think they're gonna come right out and make it obvious that that's what's gonna happen, but I think somewhere down the line we're gonna see that.
Oh yeah,
could do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think people would be turned off by the product if that was something that was even hinted at in the slightest, as like these guys are all gonna come in, own this company, and run the fucking belts, and that's it. You know, like we don't need that right now. We need the company to build, the company become strong, so that when they do decide, cool, we're gonna hop off these mantles we're on, and we're gonna come down there and run all your shit and fuck everybody up and take all your belts, everyone's gonna be excited to see it.
It's a very exciting time from a wrestling fan's perspective because you know the quality's gonna be there, but you have no idea who's a main event player, who's in the mid card, who's in the lower card. Like that battle royal, you need to be wrestling your goddamn heart out.
Hell yeah.
Because you're gonna define your role for the next few years.
Yep,
or even if you're not a person who's known for your in-ring work, your gimmick has to be on fucking point. Whatever you do, whatever you bring to wrestling, it needs to happen fucking there.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible. It's incredible because we don't have that. You know what the level of the card is in WWE.
Right.
You know who's the main event players, who's the mid card, and who's the guys that are very lucky to just sit at home and collect a paycheck. This is all new. This is amazing. You're going to see stars being born. This is rare. This is fucking special. I don't think people realize how special this is. TNT's locked down. They have no card structure yet. This pay-per-view is pivotal.
And I think going back to the whole elite aspect, it puts a face to the company. Of course, having people like Jericho helps as well. But I think that the elite creates a strong pillar in their history that people will remember as what kind of created this story and what created this company. But it's not going to be the face of it. It's going to be something that's respected and something that's remembered as what got everyone's attention, but not something that's going to be important and pertinent and in dealing with and people seeing every single week. That is the main focal point of this company. That's not the point. It's to really bring attention to people who never got their shine or people who never got the attention they deserved, or even just having people be able to fight and be booked properly time and time again with Cody at the helm.
I don't even think it's just about that. I think it's also about the quality of life that these guys have, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you look at the contracts that the Young Bucks were looking for between ROH and New Japan, they were looking for something that they weren't going to have to wrestle for the next 15, 20 years just to get the money that they need to live comfortably and retire. And that's literally the reason that we are getting AEW. AEW would not exist if New Japan and Ring of Honor had come to an agreement with the Young Bucks and given them the contract they were looking for. Because they even turned around to them and said, hey, give us a joint contract. You guys work something out, bring it to the table for us, and they never did it. ROH literally shit the bed, and New Japan shit the bed, and that's why we're blessed right now with AEW.
It's also kind of interesting, though. It's very interesting, like, yeah, let's make a joint contract. It sounds very well and good, but, you know, it's like, I think this was the Young Bucks' way of saying, we want to do all elite wrestling, but dude, if you guys can come up with something that's going to prevent this shit from happening, do it. You know, no other company, no other job in the world could be like, okay, cool, I'll work for both of you, build a contract for me that combines both y'all. I think they were really looking, like, if they were like, okay, cool, you guys want to be the next premier companies? Fucking make this happen, and we could prove that you're different. And they weren't able to come to something. Like, all right, cool, we got this other thing. We got this Tony Khan guy who's going to fucking
at the end of the day, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot, though, because you think about what that could have meant for the future of wrestling to have a group of guys like the Young Bucks sign under a contract that allows them to jump back and forth between Ring of Honor and New Japan.
This is true.
You know? Like, that opens the door for so much more opportunity. You're getting cross-promotional champions at this point. Like, so much more that can be done than just limiting yourself to one promotion or the other.
Right.
And that's a great thing about AEW as well, is they have the flexibility that other promotions don't.
And I think to kind of like round out the discussion with that is it's very Much like, yeah, they wanted a contract that fit their needs and fit the way they want to wrestle and travel and do all that. And once that couldn't happen, they're like, oh, but wait, that idea we had is really good and it can really impact the lives of other wrestlers in our industry.
Hell yeah.
Fuck it, let's just do it ourselves.
Hell yeah. Let's run down a little bit more of the card, too, here. We got the best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, versus Angelico and Jack Evans. If y'all haven't seen Angelico and Jack Evans, go watch Lucha Underground. Go watch Angelico jumping from, 30 feet up on the fucking balcony. Have y'all seen this?
Yeah, I saw that shit.
Ridiculous. He's fucking nuts.
Insane.
We got Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura versus Hikaru Shida, Ryo Abe, and Ryo Mizunami. I'm going to be honest, it's a 6-woman tag team match. I'm not super familiar with all of them. I know Aja Kong is a fucking beast, and I know that one's going to be pretty hard hitting. I don't know if y'all are pretty familiar with them, but that's going to be crazy. We have the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, versus the Lucha Brothers for the AAA World Tag Team Championship. Now, AAA is not AEW. So they're fighting for another company's tag team championships on Double or Nothing. That's pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool. And it's going to be a phenomenal tag team match. It's probably going to be match of the night.
Let's hope.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they have a working relationship with AAA. I think AAA was very smart in building that relationship and knowing the power behind it. And then it kind of made the rest of the wrestling world, it's 3 W's, take notice. And that's why ROH is thinking about working with AEW. New Japan is trying to talk to AEW to try to make something work. They know that's the big dog. And I think they're very smart, very calculated. And Conan, who I think is a huge part of AAA, is no fool.
No.
And he's been in the business long enough to see the writing on the wall, and he wants a piece.
Hell yeah. Conan, I think, is very underrated. If you only know him from WCW and you only know him as part of the Wolfpack, you don't look at his lineage, you don't look at his work outside of that, fuck, man. He's a mind in the industry. We also have Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose versus Kylie Ray in a 3-way women's match. That's going to fucking be crazy.
It is.
Nyla Rose is fucking crazy.
She is.
Britt Baker, I think she's pretty good. I remember her in some of her matches. Kylie Ray, I'm not too familiar with, but the fact that Nyla Rose is just going to throw people around and be fucking crazy.
It is.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, she is going to do some serious damage.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope that... I haven't seen a lot of Britt Baker's work, but I'm kind of excited to see her wrestle. And she's pretty proficient, and I'm excited to see her expand on that and try and see how she fights Nyla. It's going to be dope.
And then we got a few more matches, too. We got SoCal Uncensored, which is Chris Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky versus the Stronghearts, Seema, T-Hawk, and Lindemann. And the thing is, like, I keep saying shit like this. I'm not super familiar with all these guys and girls, you know? But I think that's cool. I think it's, like, again, it's like you said, Fred, it's like you guys were saying before. This is a time in history where we get to see new stars being born, or stars that hadn't really gotten the opportunity to be in, like, the Americanized Eyes or whatnot. The 2 matches I think we got to talk about real quick. Cody and Dustin Rhodes.
I can't wait.
I said this a while ago. Fucking, you talk about a company that has no history, and you immediately build history. Fuck. That's crazy.
It's going to be great. Doing this podcast has done a great thing for me personally, and it has allowed me to watch wrestling and not build it up beforehand. I'm still just a fan. I don't want to say that. But now that I record this show, it's allowed me to look at wrestling in a different light. And I now don't, even though I am the booker, I don't book things in my head how I want them to go. I let them play out and judge after. And it's really good to have no expectations going in. Like, I could dream up how Cody versus Dustin's supposed to go. But I'm going to sit back and watch those two enjoy it because I've found a way to disconnect and just be a real fan again. And just sit and observe and watch and be happy.
I talked to a gentleman yesterday, and I thought one of the questions that I was asked by this person was, what does wrestling mean to you? And, like, what do the wrestlers embody? And I was like, the wrestlers have to embody something. You know, he was like, what's your favorite kind of match? And I'm like, the storytelling matches. I brought up Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. I brought up Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, WrestleMania 12. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker was a running theme here, guys, so you can catch it. But, you know, when you think about something like Cody versus Dustin, are these two, like, the craziest high flyers in the world? Absolutely not, no. But every punch that Cody's going to throw is going to be for, like, the modern wrestling fan, like the us. And then every punch that Dustin's going to be throwing is for, like, the older generation of wrestling, the Attitude Era, those kinds of things, even pre-WCW, all that. So you have two people in the ring that are going to be throwing these punches. And they don't have to be the most proficient, the most sound, but they're going to stand for something. And that's going to be the fucking story. You don't get that a lot in wrestling anymore.
And you also have the rarity as well of that match where it's older brother versus younger brother. And that's real.
Right.
It's fucking real.
Right.
That's why I'm excited as being the oldest of my lineage. I don't know how to say this. I only have one sibling.
Of two boys.
Of two boys. Yeah. Only having my younger brother.
It's getting late. It's past ref bedtime. Now we're all getting affected.
Exactly. Ref's not here to be chastised, so we're losing energy.
Exactly.
So that's just super real. That's why I'm the most excited for it, because you don't get that in wrestling very often, or at least mainstream wrestling, where you're gonna have Dusty's kids fight for supremacy, and that's wild.
Hell yeah.
I want to see Cody come out in black and gold. Just to fuck with Dustin's head a little bit.
I think Dustin's gonna come out in black and red.
I know.
He is.
Yeah.
He absolutely is. That's why he's already teased with the face paint, and that's why I want to see Cody come out.
Which I
in
wish
black
he
and
did.
gold.
I wish he didn't tease what he was gonna wear. Like,
But he had to.
Yeah, he had to give a little
I
something,
think.
you know? Because
Yeah.
otherwise everybody's just going to be like, oh, he's going to come out in the gold and black, gold and black.
He would come out in the black and red, and people would be like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that he
Yeah.
did it in the promo is, it held so much more weight.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I also don't think he's going to come out looking like gold dust, like maybe in the face alone, but I guarantee you he'd become looking more like the natural when he had like the red pants and like the cut-off vest, like that kind of thing.
I think he's going to have some sick gear to go with.
You think so?
He's gonna go bodysuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Because I can't think for him, but like, it's gonna be nuts.
I hope so.
It's his first match outside of WWE. And how long? Forever.
Yeah.
Like,
Since
he's got to do
WCW.
something big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to do something big. And I feel like the only way you really do that, especially going up against your little brother in a pay-per-view that's promoted by his fucking company, you come out with something big like that. I'm not saying we're going to get a grandiose WrestleMania type entrance, but he's going to give you something that makes you go, oh shit.
No, you're absolutely right. What I was kind of sighing about is the way they're positioning this is Dustin's gonna lose because it's.
I think they're trying to throw everybody for a swerve.
I agree because I
agree.
think Dustin needs to win.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I booked this a few different ways in my head, and I know that you were saying like you're still a fan. I think we all are. I think when I think about this, a crazy scenario, like let's say they're booking it where you think he's gonna lose. I think it would be really cool if Dustin won, and it was because he brought some people with him that kind of influenced the match as it was going on, and Dustin Rhodes became like the leader of a stable of 2 or 3 young cats who fucking came in and in AEW programming started building a little more. Like, you think that it's just about this. And then Dustin goes, it was never just about this. Are you fucking kidding me? It wasn't just about this. It was the fact that everyone thinks I've got nothing left in the tank. I got a lot more. And he jumps from there. Because you also got to realize, AEW, Double or Nothing, it's a show for AEW. You got to start building the TV. You got to start building reasons for people to... You're not going to start it at the show. Yeah. You should start it now. And have things that lead into these different fucking events that you're doing, including... whatever they decide to do on TNT.
You're just giving me like so many ideas, like booking wise, because like if he did bring people on, he did start a stable, like he's a big like fan of Texas. He has a lot of like hometown pride for Texas. Like, so let's use that. They're calling this match the last ride. So like, what if he just had a stable with like some southern just bad dudes? Like, I can't think of a lot off the top of my head, but someone I would love to see him like partner up with would be James Storm.
Hell yeah.
Have him with James Storm. Have a stable called like Outlaw Justice, because it's all about the one last ride. And it's like, fuck last ride. I got a lot in me, and I got a lot of people with my back, and we're gonna make sure nothing gets out of hand, and we're gonna do it our way.
Hell yeah.
I think a great way to do this would be to follow the way that they did the promos and have Cody act like he's tough shit and that he's, you know, the big owner, CEO type, you know, you can't fucking touch me type deal. Have Dustin be kind of like not the underdog, but kind of be like the rough and tough, constantly beating him down, and Cody pulling out all the like the tricks on him and being all flashy and shit, and have Dustin just be gritty and fucking attacking him, and have Cody put everything he can on the line to try and beat Dustin, look away for a second, have Dustin just get him really fucking good and teach him a fucking lesson. I think just like a brother would.
I think that's almost exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Because
I think you booked it out perfectly.
It's because
I learned from the best, baby.
It's the nightmare versus the natural.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's the slick suit wearing businessman that'll do anything to win versus his older brother, which is the cowboy who shoots from the hip, who just happens to be really good at wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's talk one last match, and then I think we're going to close it for this the anniversary episode here. Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega. It's getting late. Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega.
Raph, is that you?
Ooh, I feel your spirit.
From the great beyond.
I think
from down the street.
I think Kenny Omega's winning this one. Easy.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a good match. It's basically going to be the New Japan match that they had here. And that's not a dig at all. That's not me saying it's bad. But I'm saying that it's going to be a great match. It's going to be hard-hitting. You're going to play to Jericho's strengths. And you're going to let Kenny Omega hit him with a bunch of V-triggers like 400 times. Because Kenny Omega's V-triggers are fucking great. I'm also excited to see the production crew try to hit that perfect shot that New Japan gets every single time with the V-trigger. Because if you don't, that V-trigger is going to look like dog shit.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. I don't really got much to say about it. We saw a pretty good no disqualification match back in New Japan. Chris Jericho is one of the best wrestlers to ever do it, no matter how controversial he can be sometimes. Sometimes I think he's a little too much, and that's coming from the fridge. And Kenny's Kenny. And they put on a good show the first time. I'm sure it's going to be a great show this time. It's going to be a good time. The whole show is going to be a great time.
We're all getting a little delusional because it's getting a little hot.
A good old time.
Is anyone else sweating?
We're going to be watching Double or Nothing. Y'all are going to be watching Double or Nothing. We're going to give our thoughts at some point on Double or Nothing. But for this episode, for episode number 52, for the year-long reign of the Armchair Bookers podcast.
Hell yeah.
Y'all know where to find us. You can find us over on Podbean, over on Google Play, over on Apple Podcasts, over on Spotify. You can find us basically anywhere you could listen to podcasts. iHeartRadio also, listen to you. You can find us over on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram.
Yep. Most importantly, don't forget to follow us and find us on ProWrestlingTees.com, baby.
Daddy's poor.
/ArmchairBookersPodcast.
Hit him with
/Stony420. Buy that shirt, baby, because Daddy's poor.
Hit him with the fridge.
It's been a wonderful year. We look forward to many more, and we'll see you next week. Squaw!